into the holes of the header.
Is it acceptable looking? Yeah, so helpful, aren't you? Such a good boy.
Oh my gosh.
Pretend like you're screwing, or at least get it to that point so that it looks like we're...
I will pretend like I'm screwing.
No, just like you're getting it in there. There you go.
I'm getting it in there. That's what he said.
I don't understand how I get to work like this. I'm so lucky.
Hey Grace and Camel Peeps, today we have an install video for you. We'll be taking off this old soft top off of the LJ and installing a brand new Bestop TrekTop. So we'll get to taking this one off and we'll bring down the new one and stretch that over it. Okay, what we're gonna do now is we're going to put in the inserts for the doors, and they're fully open. They look like this. This is the driver's side. And what we're gonna do first is there is a pin on the bottom here, and that pin goes in this hole here. So we'll go ahead and set it in there. And then, once you have it set in there, it'll just sit right in there. And then we have plastic half moons here and here, and they just slide around the part, like that. So on your door surrounds here, you're going to need a star T40 for these long bolts that sit in here and in here. And you will just screw those down. And now that those are started, I can grab my tool here and tighten them down. I will come back and retighten them. Remember, that is a T40 bit for your door pieces here. Always gotta make sure everything's clean. If you're in here, clean it.
I know a guy who says that all the time. Although this isn't Toolbox Buddy.
No, it's not Toolbox Buddy. It's just window cleaner. You know these Jeeps get dust everywhere. I don't know, you guys don't want to sit here and watch me clean. All right, so I'm gonna hop down and we're going to do the passenger side door surround. And one thing that I think will help as you're doing this part of it is if you have like a small flashlight or something, to make sure that these line up so you're not sitting here fighting with screws. All right, the door surrounds are installed. And as you can tell, these little railings here have probably seen better days. Take those out.
Look at all that beautiful dirt.
Yeah. And I'll clean it for you for free because I know you love to see that. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but there's a lot of dirt crunching around in there as I'm taking these off. This Jeep was originally sold in Hawaii and then was bought by the second owner in Hawaii. I believe he was in the Air Force, and bought the Jeep while he was in the Air Force, and then got out and had it shipped to Florida. And I bought this from the Florida guy. We flew out to Florida, picked up the Jeep, drove it all the way back to Arizona. And it was probably one of the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life, but hey, I got a Jeep and nothing bad happened. So, and now it's been to 2 Trail Heroes now, so there's a lot of dirt. And now what we're going to install are these pieces for the back door, and those just sit right here and they line up with the screws that were here before. All I'm doing here is I'm just screwing down these plates for the back door.
It's gonna latch down that back window for you.
Yep. Here's the driver's side. Okay. And we have those in. One thing that's really nice about this install is I had a soft top on this Jeep before, so I had holes here. If you haven't had a soft top on your TJ Unlimited or LJ, you will have to take these plates, mark those, drill your own holes. They're 1/8 of an inch, and be sure you deburr them before you actually attach these plates to the back end of your Jeep. Okay, so one thing to notice about these, your sidebars to the header, is that the holes in these, I have them lined up together, but the holes are in different places. The good thing about this is you can't install them incorrectly. So this one, the one with the higher hole on the bar, goes on the right side, and the other one goes on the left. Now what you do here is you take your header bar. Now keep in mind I have the driver's side up here. So the one with the higher hole installs here, and those two holes will line up just like that. And you take your zinc screws and screw these in. Okay, we have our second one, and we'll make sure that this is facing inside when we line up this hole. Is it facing inside? Yes, it is. And so we push that on there. The holes line up like so, and screw in the other side. Okay, and one thing to notice about this is you do have two screw holes. You have one on the inside, and this is the one we just installed
On the outside.
on the outside.
Yep.
So I'll go ahead and screw those in. I don't know the torque specs for these.
Probably Kendra spec. Just use Kendra tight and you should be fine.
Yeah. And just in case you're wondering, Kendra tight is not very tight at all. I don't tighten my lug nuts, somebody else does that. That's the header, fully assembled. Okay, and the next part is to put the support bar that goes underneath your soft top into the two inserts. There's one here and one over here. So we'll go ahead and place that in there, and we'll bow it a little bit. And there we go.
Here we are again. Different day, different clothes, because it was in the high 50s, low 60s last week when we were trying to do this originally. And so in turn, we're back in the garage and we're going to finish it off, since today was at least at 72, which, you know, still a little bit of wind out there, but at least the sun and temperature is supposed to be 72. Anyway, back to what we were doing.
Okay, so now if we look down, we have the soft top laid out on the garage floor. We have our top at this end and our bottom at that end, and we have our header laying out here. And our next step is to move this header inside this cup they have up here. And it is a tight fit. And so now,
Let's make it nice, smooth. There we go.
and once we have that on, you can see the screw holes here in the header. There should be 8. And you use your screws that came in the package, which I have laid out here, and we screw those in each of the holes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to screw one end in here and the other end over there, and then work our way inside.
Hopefully that'll make it a lot easier and we're not stretching the material too funny.
Okay, the next step, after you have these screws all done like we have, are the last 2 screws on each end. You have to put that in here. You screw it through the fabric and into these holes. There's one on each side. And one thing that I wanted to mention, when you go through to screw these screws into the header, there are no pre-sewn holes in the fabric, so you will have to screw through the fabric and into the holes of the header.
You really need 2 hands, so that's kind of a little bit of an issue at the moment because we have 3 and we really need more than 3 to deal with this. We need 4.
Yes. Okay, so as you can see, we've folded this over as best we can, and we've gotten it through the fabric and we've started it into the hole, and we're just screwing this down the rest of the way. And the header is now on. All right, this is our rear bow. We're at the back of the Jeep now, the back of the soft top. And what this is gonna do is, right by these J-hooks, you lift up this flap and there is a
small pocket
that this slides into. And if you have your soft top laying up like we do, it bows upward. And so I'll go ahead and start feeding it through. And we'll scare Loki to death.
And so as it comes through here on this end, there's a clip that's supposed to go in there. And now she pushes it the rest of the way. There we go. Now we're tight and we're fitting all the way. Now it's just up to Kendra to get the other side in.
And there we have it.
There you go. We actually have moved the top now to the back, and it needs to go up and over and right here. So it's going to lay literally across the entire top section. So that way we can align it to make sure that the holes line up for the actual brackets that are here on the top.
Okay, for this step here, you can see your bracket here, and then you have your pin that pulls like this. Pull it out, set it down, and it'll clip into place. So you're gonna do this on both sides here on your header. You'll set this down, get this out of the way because it just gets in the way. Match that up, and then push that down. Then you can put your visor back in place.
Okay, our next step here is to take the strap that we have in the middle and feed it in between the sound bar and the actual roll bar. It suggested and would probably be really helpful if you were to take some Torx and loosen up the sound bar. But because of the move, we don't have any of the Torx with us. They've already been moved. So definitely I would go that route. There is a spot in here and I've kind of gotten it through. And so there, the strap is down through the section here. So then we'll just take that side and then we'll take this side and we'll run those together and tighten it up. You have to do that on both sides. Make sure the top doesn't flop.
Okay, what we're gonna do here is we're going to make sure that the threading is facing up like this. We go in through the front, and then underneath, we thread back through. Be sure you hold your mouth just in the right way.
Otherwise it never goes right.
Yeah. There we go. It looks like I'm almost got it through there. There it goes. We'll pull it. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna loosen this up. We'll hook this on this lip here. And we'll tighten this up. Just like that.
All right, so just because we need a Torx bit in order to finish off some other pieces on this particular top, we have to go to the store. Well, you know, we also need to go to the store because we don't have bolts for the new Rocks Off-Road license plate relocation bracket. Well, you know, what do you do if you don't have bolts? resort to the
Zip
best,
ties.
the Jeepers best tool to have at any given time. And yes, we're wasting 4 zip ties just because.
We could probably only waste 2. Yeah, we can waste 2. And our next step, after we've had a wardrobe change, because we're famous, is to put on our back window here. Now you align the top of your back window with the J-hook. There's a J-hook on this side, and there's also one on this side. And what you do, there we go. So we just slide it on. Just like so. Now what we'll do is we will open our Sunrider, and this will make it easier to install the windows on each side and also to finish the installation on the rear window.
Don't forget, when you're doing that, to take these pieces off of this. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to lift it up.
All right, now that we have our back window on and our Sunrider up, what we're gonna do is we're on the passenger side now, and we're going to line up the zipper to go ahead and zip the passenger side back window on. So what I've done is I've folded this down a little bit and held this up so that I can get these 2 lined up. Only go maybe 1/4 the way, because what we're gonna do next is we're going to hook these on up here. And with this looser, it makes it much easier. Now our next step, once we have those J-hooks hooked together on the front, we'll go ahead and match up both sides of our rear window with the zipper. And we'll just get that started like that. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, just a word about the zipper on the back window. Whichever side you do first is going to be the easier side. When you get to the other side, it is going to be a 2-person job. One person is going to sit over here and pull this over, because this is really, really tight. And then the other person will be trying to pull this over as much as they can to get this zipper to line up, and it does. And once you have that done, you can get that zip down. This will tuck under, and the Velcro will meet. And moving forward, we'll go ahead and zip this up here. And as you can tell, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. And once you have that zipped, you can go ahead and tuck these under here. You can see that down there.
Once you get it going, it'll snug itself in there. They also give you these handles here to pull it down a little farther, to make it fit a little easier and a little bit easier to put around the corner there as well. So
Here's your
yank on
tab
that,
for the corner.
yank on that a little bit, and it'll get you.
Pull on that. And you can see how it snugs right down underneath here. And then our last tab. All right.
Now to zipper up the rest of it and get the bar in for the bottom.
All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna line up the bottom of the window with this notch here. Gonna start on the passenger side, so this notch is facing away from you. Place that in there, and we'll just slide this on. And just get that centered. And once you've done that, this will slide into your brackets. And then you can zip down the rest of your soft top. You may have to straighten them a little bit. Okay, once you have your bar inserted into the bottom of your back window, you'll want to make sure that these end up pretty close to even. You can see how the bar comes to that stopper there. And it's pretty much the same place there. And your last step is to go ahead and insert your flaps on both sides down into this, tuck that in, and zip your back window down. And then your last tab gets tucked in over that. All right, and your last step, hopefully the hard stuff is over, is to bring your Sunrider back to the front and clamp that down. Bring this up. Make sure that our clamps are on the inside. All right, you have those in the holes there.
Ooh, popped out.
And we clamp those down. And put our visors back in
And take these edges here.
and tuck those in.
Tuck these in. There we go.
And I will be doing the same thing over here. And now I'm tucking that in. And that's it. That is the installation of the Bestop TrekTop for the TJ Unlimited 2004 to 2006.
It's an LJ.
LJ. Okay, that concludes our video on how to install the Bestop TrekTop for the LJ 2004 to 2006. This wasn't the easiest install in the world. I would say definitely try to do this in warmer weather so that it's a little bit looser, and also have a second person to help you because you will need to grab things and stretch them a little bit as you get them into the crevices and also lining up the zippers. But if you like this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and throw us a comment if you've done this yourself and if you had a really easy time or a really hard time.
Yeah, especially if you have any tips, because we tried our best to try to get as much as we could tip-wise in there, just after we filmed it like 3 times, because it was that close. Definitely provide some helpful hints for everybody else. All right, thanks a lot. Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
It's been well into the low 60s, high 70s. Wait, never mind.
Into the holes of the header.
Is it acceptable looking? Yeah, so helpful, aren't you? Such a good boy.
Oh my gosh.
Pretend like you're screwing, or at least get it to that point, so that it looks like we're...
I will pretend like I'm screwing.
No, just like you're getting it in there. There you go.
I'm getting it in there. That's what he said.
I don't understand how I get to work like this. I'm so lucky.
You might be able to tighten this, but it doesn't look like it's tightening. So I have threaded this wrong. So that way, and then thread it back through. No.
So a key element is looking at the drawing and the way the buckle is shown in the drawing.